Hey, 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 ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our second out of three, best out of three for the day. Boy, that was a mouthful for some reason. MSI versus WE. This is game number one. MSI on the Radiant. They are the challengers. They are the unknown team. The inexperienced Dota 2 team. Only 4 days to practice as gods, and I keep on harping on. They are good, looking to dethrone WE here. Perhaps not a top Chinese team, but still, they've had some decent wins over teams such as Invasion Red. Not top-tier Dota 2 teams, but decent teams, and they've acquitted themselves well. They're not going to do anything real exciting or surprising, at least I've never seen them do that, but what they do offer you is a pretty stable, safe playstyle. And I think the key here for MSI is not to get over-aggressive, not to get over-eager, but still play your own game. You don't want to play too... You don't want to play differently. And against Aeon, it felt like in game number one, where they lost pretty badly, it felt like MSI just was a little bit too passive, not really comfortable, didn't know what to do. And in game two, they really stepped it up, showed a lot more confidence. Although they ended up dropping that third game, to me, they still looked like that team from game two. And I hope we see more of that team here today.
Yeah, they really played a good game two and game three against Aeon. They did use Weave in both those two games. It'll be interesting to see if they try and pick up that hero as they carry later on in the draft. But initially, they like to go for their solo heroes, as well as those supports. They like the Earthshaker, they like the Winner. Winner has been banned out. Earthshaker is an option, unlikely to be first pick, although it is World Elite who do have that first pick, first ban. They're on the dire side, Prophet still in the pool. Is that going to be what they want to go with here? Anti-Mage also in the pool, and that's something we saw last game. Tongfu, when they were in a bit of a pickle, they said, okay, we're just going to go with the Anti-Mage. 2 games in a row, they brought it together, and there we go. Queen of Pain is the first pick, so they're going to give MSI Prophet if MSI want that hero, as Queen of Pain being snapped up right off the bat by World Elite. And that's, I mean, I guess just how mobile and how dominant she can be in the mid-game, even in the late-game scenario, especially if played in the... You can even play her in that safe lane as a farmer or that solo mid. She is, she is just such a strong hero in the mid to late game as well as early game. I mean, she doesn't really have too many weaknesses.
Yeah, what Queen of Pain really offers you is the same thing that Windrunner does, which is if you pick that hero up first, it doesn't really give away much. It doesn't give away your lanes. It doesn't force you to do anything. You can fit her in as a hard carry. She can be the 2 or 3 position here as well and do a lot of ganking. Yes, she needs some farm, but it's not like an anti-mage where it has to be played as a hero that requires a lot of farm. It's going to be a Prophet Morphling. 2 very aggressive heroes that have a lot of mat presence. Of course, they do require a decent amount of farm, but with that Prophet, you have the option to take down some early towers. So MSI takes, I guess it's not the bait, but a WE knew that the Prophet would be left in the pool. They still gave it away, so presumably they have a plan for dealing with it, and the question is, what will that plan be? Obviously, Queen of Pain, a decent way to start off because of her strong laning. If she's up against that Prophet, she should, if not win the lane, well, at least keep him in check and get a lot of levels and farm for herself.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. You just need to make sure you can get some levels, some farm, and so you don't fall too far behind. As our second and third picks coming up now for World Elite, they're going to go for the Brewmaster. So not being banned or picked out. And as well as Shaman, so right off the bat, both teams knowing exactly what they want. Some quick picks coming out. Brewmaster, one of those great brawling heroes. He just goes in the front lines. When he pops that ultimate, he can just drop the Cyclone on a hero that they don't want to have to deal with and find a different target. One of the squishiest support heroes, generally the target to focus on down. And Shadow Shaman, I mean, here I've got to say, it looks like maybe played in a support role, although there's still a possibility that could be played as a solo mid if they want to put maybe Queen of Pain in the top lane. They can do something like a Brewmaster at bottom. Something I've seen a lot of the Chinese doing is doing this Lich Brewmaster in the hard lane as sort of a somewhat defensive dual lane. But Night Stalker the pickup for MSI, what are we thinking with these picks? The Night Stalker Prophet is very aggressive, a lot of ganking potential for MSI at the moment.
It is a lot of ganking potential. I like the Night Stalker if you can get to that mid game with a good start. But I am very concerned as I look at MSI about their early game. Yes, Morphling is a pretty strong carry as far as the laning phase goes, but he's not a dominant laning hero. He's a strong laning hero. Night Stalker can get some levels, get some farm. He's not going to get horribly harassed or ganked down, but he's not going to have a great time either against the Queen of Pain, against the Shadow Shaman. Brewmaster, Shadow Shaman, Queen of Pain, all of these heroes excel in the laning phase and in the mid game. They start off fast and they only get bigger. Even the Prophet, until he hits 6, yeah, he's nice in the lane. He's not out of this world. As long as WE doesn't overextend, I think they should be able to win the lanes, at least the way these first 3 picks are going for both teams. And a very smart ban on the Beastmaster. Giving that away would just be too much team fight, too much ganking presence with that Hawk scouting out for the Queen of Pain and the Shadow Shaman. I guess the question is, will it be a support Shadow Shaman? because if it's not, then they already have their 3 farmers. Oftentimes, we have seen, I'm not sure if it's WE, but we saw last game some support Shadow Shaman. It didn't work out too well there. One of the downsides to it is you'd really delay that level 6. I kind of favor the European style of the quick level 6 solo mid Shadow Shaman, but if you're up against the dual lane, it is very difficult to be successful. MSI has not tipped their hand in terms of where these heroes will be lane. To me, that is going to be the key. If they don't get good matchups, they're really going to struggle, and once the mid game hits, the wards are up, the Queen of Pain nukes are maxed, the Panda gets his ult, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, I fully agree. I mean, they need to make sure that they don't get outlaned here. Otherwise, with heroes like Morphling, if Morphling gets a bit under farm, bit under level, same goes for a Prophet. If he doesn't get some early momentum going his way, it's going to be a bit of a struggle for them, as they will have some comebacking to do. Yes, I just verbified that. But CM and Leshrac on the Dire team bans, the last 2 bans there, recognizing that MSI don't really have any real proper support heroes here. They're going to sort of limit what they can. Venomancer, Vengeful Spirit still in there. And, I mean, I do feel that, I mean, going for something like VS, it has been sort of the preferred support hero by a lot of teams because of that aura, not to mention that swap giving such a positional advantage, although it's MSI who want to ban that out, not allowing World Elite to pick that one up. And Earthshaker, there's a hero we've seen a lot of over the last day or 2.
Wow. I really think MSI wanted that Earthshaker. Whether or not they wanted it, I think it was the kind of hero they needed. A very strong defensive hero to help them win this laning stage. Also, oh, and a Lone Druid. Oh, WE's lineup. This is a prototypical Chinese lineup with the Lone Druid, the Panda, 2 heroes that, I mean, before they were added to Dota, we saw, I mean, I'm not saying this is entirely coincidence. A lot of the Chinese teams had just switched over, started to play Dota 2. And they weren't winning many games, so 2 of their favorite heroes from Dota 1, the Panda and the Syllabear, very recently added. And with those 2, look at the push power. Look how strong, and maybe this is the more important point, the laning phase is for WE. They have 4 heroes that can be decent solos, 3 heroes that are very strong solos, in the Queen of Pain, the Shadow Shaman, and the... So I'm getting a bit of lag here, and the Lone Druid. This is a devastating lineup for WE.
Oh, I have to totally agree, especially... I mean, Lone Druid is just one of those series, if you can get up that sort of 17, 18-minute Radiance, then they just go for that push around sort of the 20-minute mark. They'll get the Aegis, they'll go and get racks around the sort of 20 to 25-minute mark, and from there, there's just little MSI can do. MSI need to make sure that from sort of around the sort of 10 to 15-minute mark, they're dominating. That is where they have to use the Nature's Prophet, use the Night Stalker just to set up kill after kill. The Shadow Demon and Sand King do have some nice roaming potential as well, so we'll see how they want to lane this, and whether or not they can get this strong early game that they're going to need. Otherwise, World Elite, you've got to feel that with that Lone Druid, especially if he can get that farm up that he needs, will just get sort of more and more out of control. And I mean, yeah, I mean, the Lone Druid with the Brewmaster, that is just such a strong combo, and it's just something that is almost impossible to fight into around that mid-game stage.
And you mentioned the Radiance, and of course that's what most people think of when they see a Syllabear played. It doesn't have to be a Radiance. It could be a mechanism. It could be, you know, even something a little bit cheaper. Go for that pipe. Well, that's not cheaper, but, you know, there are a lot of alternatives from even just the Phase Boots and the Orb of Venom, which is the common way to play him. Once the Bear gets those, it's 2 heroes in the lane. It's even more than 2 heroes with that Entangle if it procs. Syllabear so tanky, so difficult to bring down. Kind of like a Broodmother, in the sense that he requires the attention of multiple heroes in most cases to keep him down. And because of that, it's going to free up space for the other heroes on this team. Very aggressive play here by MSI, but the Bear will be likely to scout this out. Actually, it's headed down towards mid. Maybe it won't see this, but either way, WE playing it very safe, very passively. At level 1, MSI is quite strong with that Burrow Strike, the Disruption, the Night Stalker Void, a lot of nukes. Actually, WE is pretty strong too, but MSI not going to find anything either way. So how are the lanes going to break down? Because that is, to me, the most important thing. Looks like it'll be Prophet off lane versus a Lone Druid. He's not going to be able to slow down this Lone Druid at all. That is not a great lane for the Prophet.
It's not a good lane for Prophet, but if he can get this, he's going to do this little creep pulling. Oh no, he's not. He's not going to use those streams to pull the creep wave away. If he did that, I think he'd be a bit better off, just because he can get farm away from the Lone Druid. But if he doesn't really change the equilibrium of this creep wave, Lone Druid can just absolutely dominate him in last hits, I feel. But bottom lane, here we go. Fissure's been dropped, and there's your disruption. Just, it's used somewhat offensively. Sank going to follow up with the stun, probably. Shadow Shaman taking a lot of damage, but here comes Brewmaster. Here is the backup. Shadow Shaman already down nice and low. Morphling now in. He is using that Tango to heal himself up, and it looks like Lua will go down. First blood to MSI. the Filipinos. They strike first, and they've got another burrow strike, but no fissure from the ES. A second fissure, and it looks like there will be a 1-for-1 trade, but it's MSI who get the first blood.
That was a very, very important kill, guys. Don't underestimate it at all. That gives the tri-lane a great head start, and the Morph lane, or sorry, actually the Sand King got the kill, and in this case, I don't mind that, and I almost think it might be better for the overall success of the tri-lane, because quick boots up on the Sand King, which I assume we will be seeing, as well as the Smoke of Deceit. Well, we've talked a lot about how low the Burrow Strike range is in the early stages, but the boots of speed first means that won't be too much of an issue. They will be able to do at least a single pull here, just to get just barely getting the pull off, and that Satyr Trickster will be drawing the wave back. But yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing for MSI, sure, the Prophet might not do well in this lane, but if he gets a quick level 6 against an under-leveled tri-lane, which WE's offensive tri-lane is fairly likely to be, that ult is really going to hurt. So we'll have to see, unless he goes down early, really gets that lane by the lone tree, that could be another thing going their way. Panda, very aggressive play here, tried to shut down that pull lane, and right now Morphling last hitting under the tower.
Yeah, I mean, Morphling is not going to have the easiest time in this bottom lane. I think MSI, I mean, as a Filipino team, these teams are known for, with their trailing, being very, very aggressive, looking to get lots of kills. The problem is, against an Earthshaker, they can't be overly aggressive. The Fisher's going to be coming in whenever they try to go in, so they have to time it, or try even find an opening on the Earthshaker himself if they can get on, latch in with a disruption on him. But he's going to be looking to position himself well behind the Brewmaster, who will be the one in front trying to get those last hits. As Nightstalker is actually swinging towards bottom lane. There we go, disruption stun. Shadow Shaman going to go down. Morphling gets the last hit. He does wave on through. Nightstalker was coming bottom, but he was not even needed, as he will head back towards that middle lane now.
That was purely map sense by MSI. There is a sentry ward placed down right here. I think that was actually just placed. But there are no wards on the bottom side of the map for them, so they knew that the Shadow Shaman had left the lane to go check the rune. They were moving around maybe to set up a kill on the other heroes, but just good positioning by them, a little bit of luck. Perhaps that was involved too. Either way, they get a kill in this tri-lane, off to a pretty good start. Still, if you look at farm, look how fast this Queen of Pain is going. 18 and 13 on the middle lane. Now, Queen of Pain should definitely beat Nightstalker, but this is a pretty brutal beatdown. I don't think I've seen many heroes get up farm this badly. 6 CS per minute. Not quite perfect last hitting, but pretty darn close. And a Queen of Pain with this kind of farm can easily dominate the mid game.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. With that great a start, not to mention, we'll see that fast bottle already up, and we'll be getting a lot of levels here. Nightstalker just unable to go anywhere near the creep wave. 4 creeps, just the 2 denies, and it's going to be a lot of pressure to go onto this bottom tri-lane to really get those kills, as well as these support heroes. It's going to be up to the MSI support heroes to have a big influence on this game. Maybe even go for a smoke gank to help out the middle lane at some point, but it's not an easy lane to smoke gank, being Queen of Pain, having the blink escape. But with, I mean, a Nightstalker Nuki has got the level 1 silence. They could maybe get a kill with the disruption into a Burrow Strike. Yeah,
you know, I was actually about to say the same thing. I feel like MSI should consider rotating someone out of this lane for now. Morphling at this point, he's got the level advantage, he's got the kill advantage. The farm is not great, but it's enough. I think he can sit here. At the very least, he'll get levels. And Nightstalker right now, the farm is more important for him, because once that mid game hits, he has to get something going. Whether it's simply driving heroes off towers to get a push going with the Prophet, or more likely to be setting up kills. If he doesn't have boots, urn, bottle, those basic items, he won't be able to do a thing, especially against WE with their defensive capabilities, the Fissure, as well as the Panda just being naturally tanky, the blink away from the Queen of Pain, and the Lone Druid. And speaking of that Lone Druid, he is also farming exceptionally well. MSI is getting heavily out-farmed, and that's why the gold graph is dipping towards the Dire, despite the kill advantage going the other way. Disruption, as well as Soul Catcher on the Panda, not the correct target. Well, not a target they're going to be able to bring down at any rate, as he is simply too tanky.
No, absolutely. And the Shadow Demon and Sand King actually did go for a smoke gank, but it ultimately didn't succeed towards mid lane. I think Shadow Demon got spotted by the Queen of Pain, who broke the smoke, and then they just decided, okay, let's go back bottom. And right now, they can't really kill this Brewmaster at bottom lane. They can keep Brewmaster away from farming, but if they ever go on him with a disruption into a Burrow Strike, ES will be ready with a Fissure, and Brewmaster has picked up an early bottle. I would have thought he'd maybe go for those boots as fast as possible, just for the survivability against this Trial, but he is going to go for the bottle. And top lane, Shadow Shaman rotated top. Rather than sticking with this Trial, I like this decision from Luo. It's going to give him some XP and farm, having this creep stack, not so much a stack, but just this double creep pull, using the big camp from that small camp pull. bit of a cheesy sort of thing to do, but it is a very, very effective for getting farm and levels as a support hero.
Yeah, and he is going to be able to... Actually, he's doing 2 pulls by himself. This is some impressive play. Some impressive support play by Luau. And, you know, the levels on Shadow Shaman, if he gets that level 6 by, say, the 10-minute mark, maybe even a little bit sooner than 8-9-minute mark, they're going to be very pleased. And that's going to allow them to go for some early towers. With Panda hitting level 6, as well as the Shadow Shaman level 6, you just can't defend the tower. I mean, unless you get some sort of great initiation, because Panda Ultimate, always a threat, he can just walk in and drive you back, plus the Shadow Shaman wards being dropped. They can just walk up to a tower, and the tower will drop. MSI, the only way they will be able to stop that is with the Night Stalker, timely silence, some good ganks from him, or ideally stopping WE from getting up to the tower, getting some kills before the push can really commence.
Yeah, no, I agree. They can't really just go straight up for that push until you are ready for that. As Night Stalker, he's really struggling at this mid lane. I mean, he's doing some bottle crowing at the moment. That's how he's resolving this issue, again, being up against this Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain going back to base, seeing on 1200 gold, may just pick up a TP, then go to one of these side lanes, help out bottom lane where this trailing is, maybe even go for a kill on this Morphling. Morphling has reached level 6, picked up a Ring of Health, getting close to that Perseverance now if he wants to go straight for that, as I will see where Queen of Pain wants to head now. Seeing at base, picking up some early treads, and will TP either back to mid or possibly towards this bottom lane.
Lone Druid already 1,600 gold in the bank, so they're two of their key heroes for the mid game are already having a fantastic start. Fissure to start, Clap to follow, just some harassment as it turns out. Queen of Pain is going to go back mid and continue to get that farm on. Lone Druid, if he wants to go for a Relic, at this pace I expect to see it in about 8 minutes, around the 15-minute mark, maybe a little bit sooner. Assuming he doesn't get ganked, and hey, he is a tough nut to crack without any points in stats or any real survivability items. 1200 HP, 8 armor. There is no hero that is tankier at this stage of the game than a Lone Druid.
It allows him to farm so safely in lane, because even if he's scared that he's being ganked, I mean, on 1200 HP, you still can be ganked if you're up against an aggressive gank here as a Prophet, as well as a Night Stalker, I mean, with a Sand King. They can gank him, but all he has to do is keep his hero back and just last hit using the Spirit Bear. So he's got so many options to stay safe. There will be disruption going down him, but it looks like they're not going to follow it up with any real aggression. Queen of Pain, Invis Rune, gets there before the Night Stalker does, and it's Queen of Pain who's going to be heading towards bottom lane. Doesn't get noticed, so here we go. Queen of Pain going to be looking for this Morphling. I don't know, is there enough damage? I mean, the Scream with a Sonic Wave and a Panda Clap could be enough, but Queen of Pain alone will not be enough damage, as the Perseverance is slowly helping this Morphling regen, and Queen of Pain decides, let's go back to mid lane, because nothing to be gained from trying to kill this Morphling.
Well, a failed gank is going to free up a little bit of time for Bash, who, in spite of having a really bad start with the farm, is up to 3 CS per minute. And the Queen of Pain, that's, like I said, that slows down her farm, so it's really not that big of a discrepancy. Shadow Shaman will be the target up top, and they're looking for a gank on him, as Doc actually uses a TP scroll. Love the play by him. We don't see enough Prophets do that. And Shadow Shaman, no TP scroll to him. He should be dead here. Not going to be able to TP out. Prophet ult even coming through, and that will be a free kill. Going their way, and crucially slowing down that level 6, as it looks like Night Stalker going to be going on to the Bear here. Oh, the Courier, deep deliveries behind enemy lines.
It's scouting. It can scout. It's seen the Lone Druid, though. They know he's in there.
Oh, man. The Bear is going to block him in. Nice job. Oh, that is so cheeky. But they will be able to push down the tower.
And Prophet could even summon some treants in a good 15 seconds. Or they got Tangos. Prophet has Tangos. He could Tango's way through. There we go. Lone Druid finds his escape. It looks like he's got backup anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Queen of Pain EF. Great backup. Queen of Pain's like, here comes a TP as well. This is not going well for MSI. They've already lost Shadow Demon. They may lose more. Night Stalker being body blocked by the Prophet. Prophet just going to try TP out. It looks like he's not going to be able to do so. There's the Hex. And meanwhile, Night Stalker will escape, will head towards this top rune, hope for something, although he doesn't even have his bottle on him at the moment. He is flying back out with some bottle crow action.
When you go for a push like the one we just saw top, a lot of more experienced teams will drop a ward behind the tower. With a ward there, they would have easily been able to see that gank coming and back off. So I'm not sure if it was a gold issue or what was going on, but they overstayed their welcome, and frankly, there's got to just be a clock in your head. Whenever you're doing a push like that, if you see a certain number of heroes off the map, you have to expect they're coming, especially a hero like a Shadow Shaman, Queen of Pain, who are ganking, likely to be aggressive. Looks like the top tower will be going down. Low Druid's Bear, even with no item, just mashing its way through, and 2,500 gold on that Low Druid. getting dangerously close to a relic, and it will be a relic rush the way he's farming.
Yeah, there's no reason not to. In a game like this, he's got the boots up on his main hero. He just needs those to keep himself alive. Not even going for the phase boots. Often you just see phase boots on your main hero with no boots on the Spirit Bear. But this is just straight relic with normal boots, basically optimizing the time he can get it in. And I don't feel he even needs those phase boots. He's not really under much pressure, doesn't need the mobility. Top lane, we do see, top jungle, we see Night Stalker catching out the Earthshaker. And it's the Earthshaker and Shadow Shaman. These are the two squishy heroes who are getting caught out every now and then. Shadow Shaman is actually 3 of the 4 deaths. ES is the last death. And the other 3 World Elite heroes have not really been pressured or... I mean, they're all farming really well. I mean, between Brewmaster, Queen of Pain, and Lone Druid, none of those 3 heroes have been shut down, which is definitely a concern for MSI.
Well, it is a bootsless Earthshaker for now, but that's not as big of a problem as a bootsless Lion, which we saw in some games in the past, because that Fissure just such long range, and you can sit really far back and still be useful. Burst Trinket on the middle lane, silence to follow. This Queen of Pain is dead. Prophet joins the push or the fight, and with that TP, maybe it'll get a little push going here, but it's tough to push against WE because of that the nuke damage of the Ether Shock, the Fissure just to stun everyone up. The wards are not up yet, but Shadow Shaman is getting very close, and all the while, Low Druid, 3,600 gold. Oh my goodness, he's running his own personal mint here, and just printing some extra gold for himself, putting those dollar bills in his own pocket. And a relic. This is a outrageously fast relic timing, and this goes back to the Morphling's decision now to go for Perseverance. I feel MSI may be showing their inexperience. Low Druid is not picked all that often in the Southeast Asian Dota 1 scene. There's generally more ganking heroes, and frankly, a Morphling with a Linken's Rush is not going to do much against a Low Druid with a Radiance, as well as all the other pushing and team fight coming their way from WE. So it's really going to be up to the MSI to lay the push, maybe get some ganks on the Lone Druid before that Radiance is complete, and generally stall, because if they don't, around the 20, maybe 25-minute mark, the push is coming, and it will be coming hard.
Yeah, I fully agree that these, I think MSI are not used to versing this Lone Druid in Dota 1 at all. It's not a popular pick, like you mentioned. And as a result, they just they probably don't even realize how much gold this Lone Druid currently has. They're probably thinking, okay, maybe 2.5k at best, but no, he has just picked up his relic, and that is going to be a big problem for MSI. This is like looking at a 15, 16-minute Radiance, and when the push comes, it's going to be hard to defend. Maybe at first they can defend it before the Lone Druid gets up too many more tank counts. If he gets something like a pipe as well, then it can get even harder. As World Elite, they're going for towers now. The Serpent Wards have been dropped at mid. If they can get a few towers here, get a bottom tier 1 tower, get the mid tier 1 tower, they're going to get even closer to getting that Radiance, and they'll get it a lot faster as well with some tower gold.
Right, it's not all about the Lone Druid, it's also about heroes like Panda, who is very close to a Blink Dagger. Panda can blink in, clap, and then immediately pop his ultimate. Oh, nice silence onto that Panda. You can't pop your ult, but there's the defensive Fissure. He will have the ult available. He's not even using it yet because he doesn't need to. Panda with no items, just everybody, or not everybody, but the 2 most important heroes on WE for these team fights as the mid-game approaches, the Lone Druid and the Panda, are so naturally tanky that MSI, I just don't see them bursting these heroes down. And the fight are so easy to turn around. Of course, I mentioned the Panda, almost at that Blink Dagger, can blink in, clap, drop the ult, and suddenly everyone on MSI gonna have to run away. MSI has a decent amount of ability to run away, but still, while they're running away, towers will be dropping, and the tier 1 mid survives for now, and that's nice, but Low Druid still getting close to that relic, or excuse me, to that Radiance. It's looking to be about a 17-minute Radiance, which is, it's not the fastest Radiance timing in the world, but it's a very solid one, and it's not just about the Radiance also, it's all the other heroes who are getting the levels they need, the farm they need. WE picked a pretty greedy lineup, but they haven't been punished for it.
Yeah, they're farming so well in all 3 lanes. It's just MSI. They're trialing at bottom, the Shadow Demon, the Sand King. At the start, it was trialing versus trialing, so they couldn't really get on top of it. And then once they were doing okay in that bottom lane with Brewmaster, getting a few levels, getting his early bottle up, that's when Shadow Shaman said, okay, now it's time for me to catch up in levels. They just played it really smart with Shadow Shaman switching towards his own jungle at the right time to go get some farm and XP. And as a result, Shadow Shaman is not... that underfarmed on level. Only level 6 with a Bracer, Boots, and Magic Wand, but for 15 minutes in as a hard support, that is a lot better than if he'd stayed bottom. And there we go, in goes the Brewmaster. They immediately take out the Night Stalker with the Blink Clap. Queen of Pain ultimate going to take out the Sand King. And 2 kills quickly fall into World Elite's hands in this mid lane, not to mention the tier 1 tower. As the top tower, Morphling trying to get a tower in return. He's still trying to farm that Lincoln Sphere. He's farming well. I mean, he's got 86 creep kills with a kill. But it's just not looking to be enough, at least not right now.
Morphling just takes so long to come online as a carry, especially if you build him with the Lincoln Sphere first. Lincoln Sphere is picked up for survivability and safety and farming. It's not picked up for damage, but it's not picked up to allow you to engage in a team fight. If you really want to do that and you're afraid about getting burst down, you go for a BKB rush, which is cheaper and also a little bit more reliable. There isn't a real great answer for BKB on the Dire squad. Sure, they do have the Lone Druid with Entangle, that's not reliable though, but MSI getting a little push of their own going here. As it looks like Lau, aggressive ward beat drops in between the tier 2s. Love this ward placement. Unfortunately for MSI, they seem that this is a moment where their wards are down, so they don't know what's coming. Bash is going to get hexed up.
Oh,
will he
man.
be shackled? He will. Immediate disruption. That's going to break the shackle. It looks like Shadow Shaman might be the one way up, but here comes the Panda.
Radiance is up. Oh, this is not looking good for MSI. The Radiance burn is just going to go on in, cycling on Prophet, and it's just going to slowly tick away. There's your Entangle. Doc is gone. And this is getting a bit ugly, I have to say, for MSI. I mean, the kill score is not all that one-sided, but it's just World Elite out-farming them, out-laning them, and MSI just having some fairly weak lanes with the Night Stalker solo, with the Prophet as a suicide solo. Even with Prophet in a 1v1 matchup in top lane, it did not really work out all too well for them.
I don't want to call this... I don't want to say MSI is completely out of this game. It is not looking very good for them, though.
No,
gold grab,
I'd agree.
Still pretty even, but keep in mind that gold is being distributed into items that will not help for the current state of the game. Arcane Boots and Sand King, that's nice. That's not going to help you kill anything. The mecha is up on Prophet. That's actually a big pickup for them. It will help keep everyone alive. And a mecha this early against Radiance really does mitigate the Radiance damage. But the issue is there's so much burst damage on WE to go along with that Syllabear. You have the Blink Clap to initiate, the dual disables, as well as the nukes and the wards of the Shadow Shaman, the fissure of the Earthshaker. A lot of ways to lock down that Prophet, and either he might be forced to mecha himself alone, or to be picked off before he can pop it, in which case it won't be helping anyone. So I mean, I like the choice to get mecha, don't get me wrong, but it's also not, it's not the game changer, and it can be in other situations, because WE just has too much initiation, too much burst damage. And expect WE at this stage of the game to look to farm up, maybe push down a couple of the outer towers over the next 5-10 minutes or so, and then go for a big one. So Shadow Demon's gonna get picked off. Prophet ult bouncing through, Morphling waveforms in, replicates out. Where does he replicate to? Just a little bit of rest, he goes mid. They are gonna counter push, and this is the best thing MSI can do right now. They can't take a head on fight.
Yeah, they need to cut their losses and just accept that, not be defended bottom. They're also going to be counter pushing a bit at top lane. I imagine that tower will be defended, but Sand King getting closer and closer to a Blink Dagger perhaps. Prophet going to TP as well towards the top lane. Mid lane though, Night Stalker is surrounded. He's got no ulti. He's going to get picked off. But MSI, if they can get this top Q1 tower, they'll be looking okay-ish. Queen of Pain, there we go. TP attempt not going to happen. And we will see a pick off there. But MSI, they get another tier 1 tower. They get 2 towers out of that. Although they do lose Night Stalker, that's not the worst trade that they could have found. That is
the Lincoln Sphere for the Morphling, and he's got a haste rune. I have no idea why he's chasing Lone Druid. That is not a kill that's going to happen anytime, especially not 1v1. Blink Dagger is up on cast, and you mentioned the Blink Dagger. That's a huge pickup for MSI, because if you look at their lineup, nobody can really initiate right now for this team. Disruption has a low range, Night Stalker does not have a BKB, and you cannot simply charge it to a Shadow Shaman, an Earthshaker, a Panda, a Syllabear with the Radiance. If you do, you will just be hexed up, fissured up, and die immediately. So Night Stalker cannot initiate, unless it's a small numbers engagement, which we're unlikely to see as we approach the mid game here, because WE is a smart team. They know they have a mid game pushing oriented team fight lineup, and they're going to focus on that. So as a result, the Blink Dagger, it gives them that initiation. Still, it's going to be tough, because Syllabear with Radiance, you can just send the Bear in to seek out the Sand King. It is very tanky at this stage of the game, and as long as the Radiance is burning him, he will not be able to use that blink.
They're going to be relying heavily on this Sand King to sort of set up some good mid-game team fights. And the other thing is, I mean, it's only a level 1 Epicenter still. Sand King is a bit under-leveled. He wants to reach that level 11, get the level 2 ulti, just so he can start doing more AoE damage, more pulses, and World Elite doing the smart thing, They're not going to worry about too much about pressing towers right now. They're going to take Roshan while they can. It's going to be, it looks to be uncontested. Observer has been planted near the bottom river. I don't know where they spotted out. I think they would have just missed them. Although, even if they knew, I don't expect them to try and stop this. This is going to be a just going into the hands of either the Queen of Pain or the Lone Druid. Queen of Pain with this BKB may decide to pick it up, although already with a lot of survivability because of that BKB, so it could be the Lone Druid. It's going to be the Lone Druid.
Wow, BKB rush, I like this choice a lot. The Queen of Pain needs to be in the thick of things, and of course that gives you counter to the silence, the burrow strike, the disruption. She can no longer simply be chain stunned or otherwise ignored by those spells. She will be a force to be reckoned with. It allows Silver to come in second, along with that, the Panda be up in the other skater. So, the whole passing through from Prophet. A lot of action here. Nice epicenter with the BKB. Will they be able to bring down the Lone Druid at least once? It doesn't look like it. God, he is so tanky. And in fact, the fight is going to go the other way. Panda ult was used there. If they only get one kill, not the worst thing in the world, but they're going to get at least the Night Stalker here. Shadow Demon needs to get out. Night Stalker eats a boulder toss. He is pretty tanky. This is a dive, but Panda and the Silver can easily tank. Prophet is doing the smart thing, farming away top, Morphling farming the jungle. Morphling needs about 2 more items before he can really stand toe-to-toe with the Dire. If he gets a BKB and he gets some lucky fights, that might be enough, but otherwise, I mean, he's going to be way farther ahead than he is right now.
Well, and Lincoln's doesn't really offer him much apart from a little bit of survivability, a little bit of regen here or there, some stats, but it's ultimately, it's not like a BKB where you can just go waving in and be aggressive. You still have to be cautious even with the Lincolns. You get some regen, some fairly strong sort of passive regen. He does do another wave in, followed by Replicate out in the bottom lane, waving back towards his mid lane, but ultimately, Doa is just, I totally agree. He needs at least one more big item, probably a second big item. I'd say, needs maybe a BKB and something else. Yeah, I don't like the BKB and the Lincoln Spare. I think getting both is a bit silly because you're getting 2 defensive items and ultimately you just get 200 farms. So maybe he's just going to have to rush that Ethereal Blade as fast as possible and hope for the best. But here we go, bottom lane. Nice goes charging in. He's going to get immediately focused down. ES ultimate. Does see Shadow Shaman being lost, and Queen of Pain BKB gets the kill on Sand King, finishes him off. But so far, 2 for 2. They did manage to take out Icy. The Earthshaker is going down, and now it is World Elite actually on the back foot. Morphling has come in and is having some impact on this game. He's also up to 2.5k gold. So if he wants to get that Ethereal Blade, we could see that fairly soon.
Yeah, that was a great fight for MSI, and I talked about, MSI couldn't take a fight, but that was a fight they could take because it wasn't the full lineup of the Dire squad. WE also didn't have the Panda ult, and without a Panda ult, it is just so hard to win a fight. With the Panda ult, it's a completely different matter. So if WE want to take this game, I say what they need to do right now is wait for the Panda ult to be up. Only take fights, only push when you have that Panda ult. Without your full team, you are not nearly as effective. Panda is a completely different hero with that ult. After that fight, the Gold Graph's still going heavily in the favor of the Dire. They have pushed down a bunch of outer towers here. And apparently my microphone was too far from my face, so guys, sorry about that. It is fixed now, and you'll find that out in 6 minutes.
Oh, fantastic. I love the 6-minute delay. It is one of those things. It does mean you have to do all those preparation stuff, which is not always possible for some of these non-studio quality streams. But it has been good so far, guys. And we are going to see Night Stalker. He does get Blink Clap, no Fissure to follow it up. World Elite not quite latching on there. Although we are going to see them still looking to push down this top lane. Hyperstone is up for the Lone Druid on his Spirit Bear. Going to be slowly building towards that Assault Crest, going for that strong pushing power.
This is actually not a bad situation for MSI, especially the way it's playing out. Morphling is at that point where he can pretty much push by himself. Not sure if you mentioned it, but there's a Yasha up on him. WE is grouped up top, looking to trade towers here, and a tier 2 top for a tier 2 mid. It's not really a great trade, but they have a much faster push. So they may burn this tower down and be able to TP out to defend. Chan with an ultimate orb, probably going towards a Hex. But this is where the Prophet comes into play and gives that Morphling a little more time. It's like adding a couple of seconds to the clock for the MSI squad because of that ultimate. He's sitting on 3,000 gold. Maybe it will be an Aghanims, could be a Necrobolt, could be a Force Staff. Probably going to be one of those 3. Actually, Yule Scepter is not bad against the Silver Bear because you can throw the bear up in the air. If you get a couple of those on one team, you can juggle it. But it looks like 4 staff for the Shadow Demons, so they're not going to have multiple ones.
It sounds a bit gimmicky to me. I feel like it's going to be a Necrobook here. And to me, getting Yule Scepter just for a Spirit Bear, there's other ways you can deal with it. 4 staff is one way you just get away from it. But Necrobook is going to be going for some additional push, some additional buffering, and Radiant actually lose their courier. I'm not sure how that one happened there, but it did get caught out in no man's land. As we will see Shadow Shaman building towards a BKB, so not even going for a Blink Dagger for the initiation, just trusting that the Brewmaster alone can provide them with the initiation they need. And we will see that BKB coming up a bit later on as bottom lane, Queen of Pain, Ultimate Orb is up, is going to be going towards what I imagine to be a sheepstick here. So, I mean, MSI, all in all, I mean, they're on the back foot, they're a bit under farm, they need to get a few more core items, and they just have to pick their fights really wisely here, because any bad fights are just going to really... It's going to lead to lost towers when Lone Druid just has such great farm and such fast pushing with that Spirit Bear right now.
I really have to question WE's item selection. There's no mechanism, there's no drums, there's no pipe. They don't really have the items that you normally like to see when you have a Syllabear and a pushing teamfight-oriented mid-game lineup. Yeah, Syllabear's got 12 item slots. You still don't want to go that late against a Morphling, a Prophet, a lot of decent semi-carries, and MSI, even the Night Stalker. And I think if they had those items, they'd be a lot more well-equipped to go for the push. Still, their team fight is not to be underestimated. They are grouped up, smoked up bottom, baiting out Sean here, but MSI showing some good map awareness, good game sense. They're not going to fall for that. In terms of that Syllabear, he does have a Hyperstone. It will be an Assault Cuirass, and that should be the first item that I actually like that WE's picking up. At least it gives them a little bit more push. Yeah. I'm being harsh, but hey, this is a lineup where if you get a Radiance that quickly, you have a team fight, you should just flat out win. You shouldn't even be able, I mean, unless I
agree.
Go ahead.
No, I definitely agree. I mean, with some of these heroes, they just can't defend that kind of push. I mean, they haven't got heroes who can just engage on in, apart from the Sand King with the Epicenter Blink, but once you've got a mech or a pipe on the Dire team, it's pretty much all over, but they're not actually going for the mech and pipe at this point, which to me is a bit questionable in itself.
Yeah, at least one of them would be nice. I mean, and look at the Shadow Shaman. He's got an Ogre X and 2 Bracers. Is that really more helpful to your team than a mech? You can stand really far back to Shadow Shaman. You've got Panda to tank in the front lines. You've got Syllabear to tank in the front lines. And hell, your Queen of Pain has a BKB. Do you really need to be standing far up? Are you really going to be initiated on? Not if you're positioned properly. So I don't know if it's lack of confidence in the team, just feeling like they don't need those items, but to me it's a little crazy. Still, that being said, it is a scary push nonetheless, support items or not, and here it comes. Everyone grouped up. Prophet is going to have to rejoin the fight relatively soon. Morphling is actually here ready to defend as the fight is about to begin. He's almost got the Manta, not quite though, so if he gets entangled, he won't have a way to remove it. Medstyle does remove that entangle. Prophet actually gets the tier 2, and WE... I think this next push, they gotta make a go here. Look for Panda to go for a Blink Clap initiation and try to bring down that tower.
If this game goes too long, MSI can easily get back into it. They've got the Morphling, they've got the Prophet. Prophet is continuing to get towers, continuing to apply pressure, and here we go. They've gone in at mid. No, there we go. There's the Brewmaster ulti. Disruption goes down, just used defensively, helping out Night Stalker stay alive. Down goes the Serpent Woods. Nice 4-star. Keeping Night Stalker alive. Nature's Prophet has taken out Shadow Shaman. The Epicenter. MSI, they've killed 2. They may actually hold on to this. They're going to lose their Prophet. The Lone Druid. The Entangle's doing so much damage. Lone Druid's going to go down, but he's got the Aegis. And what a fantastic fight. Nature's Prophet going to buy back. Brewmaster with Queen of Pain. They take out these Shadow Demons. But MSI, they've gone back in. They're going to get this Brewmaster. Double stun with the Burrow Strike. And now Morphling is just doing so much damage. He's picked up a Manta Style with his linkage. He's got a massive amount of farm. And MSI are still in this game, without a doubt, even though they've lost their racks. Nice play by World Elite, focusing down that racks. But I've got to say, it's still looking like this is anyone's game.
They're not just in this game. They have a lot of confidence after that fight. The Morphling has the Manta Style as well as 1,200 gold. I dare I say it, I think they're in the lead right now. WE's, they lost an Aegis. They used everything in that fight. They used the Rost Awards. They used the Panda ult. They had a good initiation on the Night Stalker, but that's where you need the pipe. The Lone Druid went for an Assault Cuirass, and frankly, it's mostly magical damage. That Epicenter was ridiculously strong. The Prophet ult bouncing through as well. And of course, that Necronomicon doing a decent amount to help out there. And of course, during all that time, Prophet also got the tier 2 top. The gold graph is still in the Dire's favor, but if you look at the map, they have just a couple of towers going their way. So they are up 2 towers. It's really on a 3,000 gold difference. And then another 1,000 or so of that is the Aegis. Now, they can still win this game, but if they make 1 or 2 more bad pushes like that, make any more mistakes, they're going to be out of it. I mean, they did get the melee racks, so they have that working for them. But it was a very
one bad
expensive
fight and they'll lose another lane.
Radiance.
They'll lose another lane if they have a bad fight. And what happens with World Elite, just a perfect example. If they get ahead in a position like this where they take out one Rax, they will just wait for the next rotation. They're not going to push unless they have an Aegis and they're in a great position. They'll just pressure lanes and then back off. And we're going to see them take this next rotation. It's going to come up sooner rather than later. And whether or not we see MSI making a play for it, trying to prevent that from happening, we'll have to wait and see. Morphling does have an illusion at bottom lane, which Prophet is going to join up with, as we will see a gank attempt on bottom. They're going to try to get this Prophet, and I think they should be able to do so. He drops down the Necro Book. He's actually okay here. He's mech'd himself up. Now he's going to walk right into a heap of heroes, heap of disables. Going to go down. And with that, actually BKB was popped on the Brewmaster for that one. Interesting choice there, I have to say, but ultimately not going to matter too much, as there we go. Hood up on Lone Druid. He is building that pipe.
Well, the one nice thing about the BKB is it gives the Lone Druid, or excuse me, the Brewmaster, just it makes him even more impossible to kill. And he can blink and clap. He doesn't have to immediately go into ult form. He can actually just pop the BKB when he gets low, when the BKB is about to run out. Then you can go into ult form. So that gives you an extra, well, I guess now it's 9 seconds. On top of that ultimate, which right now has a 17-second duration, that's about 26 seconds for there's a panda that's unkillable, critting hard, clapping you constantly, throwing you up in the air when he's in that ult form, tossing out boulders as well. It's going to be another Aegis. That kill that they got on the Prophet was actually a massive kill. Sure, it's only one death, but this is a Prophet who's been getting a good amount of farm. He's dead for a long time. That means he's not using his ult. And it also crucially came right as Russia was about to respawn, gave away the Aegis as a result. MSI, with that Aegis back on, I believe it was the Lone Druid who picked it up again. It was. He's also got another 900 gold back, and now finally he's going for that hood, as well as what I assume will be a pipe down the road, realizing that they desperately need that ability to tank up for the team.
Oh yeah, I mean Epicenter was the main source of damage that last fight for MSI, I've got to say, and no mech, no pipe is just. I mean, it made it hard for them. And I mean, you see Brewmaster with a BKB, but he was in ulti form for the majority of that team fight. It wasn't the best choice of items, I was going to say. I mean, even just getting a Drum of Endurance or a Vlad, some aura that they can actually use while he's in ulti form could have helped him out a bit more. As we're going to see World heading down towards this bottom lane with a couple heroes. They've got a couple at top as well as in the jungle, so it doesn't look like there's any urgency for them to push. Maybe they'll just wait for Brewmaster to hit level 16, get that level 3 ultimate. I mean, and right now, I don't think they're too worried about Morphling getting more farmed. I mean, Morphling, though, he's up to 3.3k gold. That's enough for an Eagle Song. He can go into an Ethereal Blade, get a Butterfly, get some kind of damage on, maybe just a Skadi here, and that can be problematic, as we will see Brewmaster scaling him out with an Invis Rune, and he's going to see absolutely everything. No gem. They have got sentries, but I don't think they're just going to randomly plant some. They don't know that this Brewmaster does, in fact, have Invis.
Well, there's now 2 BKBs up on WE, plus the Lone Druid getting close to the pipe. And, oh, sorry, he actually has it now. Oh, Doa in a bit of an awkward position here. He is going to replicate out, and that's the power of the Morphling. So he should be okay. They're going to be forced back, and here comes that 5-hero push that we're so concerned about if you're an MSI fan. It's going to be... This push is going to be much harder. There's actually 3 BKBs. I forgot the Queen of Paints, as well as a Hex on her, as well as a pipe. This is a completely different push from the last time around. They're not going to be able to rely on that epicenter. They can even pop BKBs at a timely fashion, and you know, then the Sand King, even if he holds on to the epicenter, it might be long enough to bring down the tower and the Rax. There is a glyph available, so the timing for that will be important as well. For now, it's all about positioning, all about timing. Very early pipe. That, dare I say, that is a big mistake. They can pop the glyph, wait out the pipe. There are still BKBs though, and the Aegis on the Lone Druid, so it's not the worst thing in the world, even if it was a touch too early.
And there we go. They do drop down the Disruption just to get up some illusions they can throw and help take some stuff up. But Brewmaster, he just pops a BKB and right-clicking away in this tower. And there goes the Demonic Purge. I don't know about that. There's silence, though, on this Brewmaster. Can they focus him down? There's an Epicenter. Brewmaster going to go down without popping an ultimate. Great play from MSI. Great start to the fight. And now ES going to ulti, trying to pick up this Morphling. Morphling has an Eagle Song doing so much right-click damage. He gets the Shaman. They've lost Prophet, though. They forced the buyback from the Brewmaster, and they're going to lose their Rax with the Lone Druid right-click. This is the problem. They're holding their own in the team fights, but Lone Druid is just spending time making sure he's getting towers, getting Raxes as well with those Serpent Wards. So, I mean, regardless of how the team fight goes, World Elite come out on top because of the Raxes that they're getting.
Yeah, that was actually a fantastic engagement for WE. In spite of the fact that you gave Morphling some more kills, your Lone Druid still has the Aegis, and ultimately that's the only resource you won't get back. I don't really know why they care about this range Rex, but they're going to make a go at it again. Prophet is dead, and it looks like Panda blinking and clapping, just driving back the Shadow Demon. Actually, does he really want to go for a kill? Shadow Demon quite low. Fissure will clean that one up. And it looks like the Panda ult is even used here. I thought he used it in the last fight, but indeed it is still up. And with that Panda ult, they may be able to transition directly top. 2 full sets of rags go down as the range mid. Oh, it's MSI may be out of this one.
Yeah, I'd say MSI. This is with 2 lanes down, and with World Elite, I mean, even if they get a few kills on World Elite can just regroup, wait for Roshan, and just go once again. They are going to get a kill here on the Lone Druid. He's got the Aegis, so we'll see if they kill him again, or if Queen of Pain can say something about that.
He's going to be a
Queen of Pain has BKB in the sheet. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's in range form, so he's so damn squishy, and he is going to get taken down by the Morphling. That is the problem with Aegis on Lone Druid.
Yep, sort of similar to a Dragon Knight. He also respawns in his non-ult form. Why did WE go for the top racks? They already had used Panda ult. They'd gotten the bottom and the mid. I think they should have been very happy with that and backed off. It's more kills going MSI's way. Prophet is a good hero to have in this situation, thanks to that ultimate. The Necro Book going to help as well. Morphling going to be nice as well in this situation, and he does have that Ethereal Blade now. That's going to give them a little more burst damage. More importantly, they can push lanes on. Oh no, Prophet, don't get caught again. Oh, the Scream not going to hit, but there is a Hex. Prophet going in on the Earthshaker. I guess he figures he's dead, perhaps. Mecha is popped. Time to TP out after this Prophet. But the Queen of Pain ult is there, and he goes down again. This Prophet just getting caught out time after time. It's really hurting MSI. Going to hurt them even more now because that bottom set of racks is down, and all lanes need to be pushed out.
Yeah, there's just too many lanes that are going to end up getting pressured here. Not to mention, they'll probably just go for this top racks now. I feel like they're confident enough. They are sort of a safe and slow-paced team, but at this point, they've got to be feeling that this game is won. They can wait for Roshan to respawn, but that's going to be a good 5 full minutes. And there is apparently some Dota 2 bug where he cannot see the Queen of Pain. That's, of course, a problem. And we are going to see. It looks like World Elite backing off from top. There's a couple Radiant heroes going in, but it's actually a 4v2 scenario, so they can easily fight this if they want to.
Yeah, and it looks like Morphling, just melts the Shadow Shaman, who had the BKB but was not able to pop it in time. Slow on the fingers there. Panda, no ultimate. And actually, it looks like that will be the end of the gank, but there's the Morphling. You know, he can burst down these heroes. If they're not able to get their BKBs off in time, that will be an issue. If you're WE, you really got to stop taking these non-5v5 engagements because your team's strength lies when you have everyone grouped up. As I say that, a 3v3 will be just fine too. Replicate, I guess, misused there by Doa.
What?
I think he just pressed it twice or something. And he will back
You need to
off.
be careful of this Morphling always. Morphling, I mean, with this shotgun now, if he catches an ES or... I mean, it's mostly the ES and Shadow Shaman who have to be very cautious with their positioning. Queen of Pain is BKB, also plenty of HP at this point. And Brewmaster, BKB, 2k HP, Lone Druid, 2.5k. So it's just those 2 heroes, the ES and Shaman, who do need to be careful not to get caught up by this Morphling. But Morphling can quickly make this a 5v4 fight if he can find those heroes and outmaneuver them.
Roshan about 4 or 5 minutes away from respawning here. And I'm not sure if we'll see WE wait for that. They could if they want to, but I don't think they need it. If they do exactly what they did in the previous push, but maybe get their BKBs off at a better time, save the pipe a bit longer. The Morphling's not going to be able to burst anyone down while they're in BKB form. The pipe will help block a lot of his damage, if not all of it. And you can leave the Shadow Shaman as well as the Earthshaker very, very far back. They don't have to be anywhere near the front lines, but in comes the Sandcade. Burrowstrike not going to hit anything there, but they immediately get down this Earthshaker. The position, again, very poor by him, and TP out from the Lone Druid. It looks like the Bear will be focused down. Can he resummon it? I don't think he can, but it's already dead for 30 seconds. Still, if that Bear dies again in another fight, sometime in the next minute or so, they're not going to have that Assault Cuirass or the Radiance for a while. This is getting to the point in a game for a Lone Druid where he should think about transitioning those big items onto the main hero, as the Bear is simply not tanky enough to hang on to them.
Yeah, I fully agree, and it just cannot... It does suffer from some sort of positioning issues. When you want it in front, you want it to be right clicking around the tower, but as a result, it's always going to be getting focused down early and fast in a fight, so sometimes having those big items on your hero can be a lot better. World Elite, after a few bad pickoffs at the top lane, they're probably now going to wait for the Roshan. I somehow thought they'd end the game beforehand, but it does look like they are going to play a bit slower. They are going to just farm up their neutrals for now. And Lone Druid has got the Pipe, Shreds, and Radiance with the Assault Cuirass. We are going to see Brewmaster looking to get up some kind of item now. He's up to 600 gold, could start building towards the Aghanim Scepter. I've got to say, this late in the game, Aghanim Scepter will be a bit redundant. We are 4 minutes in. Not entirely, but it's just... I mean, he's already gone for a BKB. It's almost as if he should get something to sort of benefit him while in non-ulti form.
Yeah, of Vlad's here, I think would be a much better choice than an Aghanim Scepter. And speaking of other item pickups, Queen of Pain went for an Aghanims, and it's pretty late Aghanims for her as well. You are also up... Well, I mean, I guess there's not many BK... Well, as I say that, actually, Night Stalker has completed his BKB, so there are 2 BKBs. I really think some right-click damage would be a better choice here for that Queen of Pain. It gives you a backup carry. Of course, you've got 2 tanks to begin with. You've got a lot of disables to assist you. And you've got that BKB, so you can't really be burst down by the Radiant squad. And if you go for that right-click damage, you are being buffed up by that minus armor on the bear, so that you will be hitting that much harder. They're waiting for Roshan. It's not up in time. I guess they wrote the wrong time down. WE is prepared to push top. Oh, the bear going to be doing some dewarding here. I think they have a gem now. Gem is picked up.
And they've got to get back to defend. They can't just keep carrying around Rush. World Elite already. They've got all 5. It'll probably be a similar scenario where this is the Brewmaster plus Syllabear combo, which is just so powerful. Brewmaster blinks in, clap into an ulti, just wreaks havoc. Cyclone Series boulders them, scares them off, while meanwhile, Lone Druid just focuses down the tower, focuses down the rack, and just finds himself getting a pretty much free rack with the help of Shadow Summoning Wards. A lot of damage being dealt. Queen of Pain gets a double kill, goes beyond just godlike. And now, Lone Druid taking a lot of damage. He has been hit by a Soul Catcher, but he's just so damn tanky with the pipe, as well as an Assault Crest. Now Brewmaster, he's the one who's actually going to focus down the tower. 2 kills for World Elite, and they're going to get this last rack at top lane. MSI will call GG, and that means we're going to be going to a game 2 with World Elite up 1 game to 0.
Yeah, it was just such a strong pushing lineup, such a strong team fight lineup by WE. And when you're up against that kind of a lineup, you have to do something to compensate. You got to get a lot of early kills, a lot of early towers. You can't let it get to this point. You can't give the Lone Druid free farm. You can't let the Panda get a fast Blink Dagger, and the Queen of Pain just dominate the middle lane. I think it all goes back to the laning phase for MSI. While the heroes were strong and in theory with comparable farm could definitely take a lot of these mid-game fights, they didn't get that farm. They didn't get those levels. And they lost a lot of towers early. And so hopefully for MSI's sake, they draft with the landing stage more in mind. Because I think they showed here they have a lot of talent as a team, but it was just too much of a hill to climb for them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they had some great team fights. It was just the team fight and pushing potential that World Elite had. Even when they lost team fights, they still got towers, they still got racks. And they would just regroup after maybe a few hero deaths and they'd trade 2 for 2, but it wouldn't just be 2 hero kills each. They'd get a tower, they'd get a Rax hero there. And in the end, it was just MSI falling further and further behind, never applying enough of pressure onto their opponent's towers. And I feel it was the Prophet and Night Stalker who needed to be more proactive, getting some sort of mid-game ganks here, and just preventing that Lone Druid from getting that Radiance up as quick as he did.
Yeah, Lone Druid versus a Prophet. Again, it's just not the best lane for a Prophet. Yeah, he can get some farm and some levels of his own, but he's not going to slow Lone Druid down. He just doesn't have the ability to harass necessary to do it. I mean, everybody struggles against Lone Druid 1v1, even Invoker, even Windrunner, even the top 1v1 solos in the game. Lone Druid is one of the strongest, definitely in the top 5 conversation there. That's going to do it for game number 1, folks. So WE takes it in a rather drawn-out push strategy and team fight-oriented lineup. WE showcasing the sort of standard Chinese playstyle and doing it well, and MSI perhaps showing their inexperience. But we're going to be heading into Game 2 momentarily, and hopefully MSI has a better sense of what WE likes to go for and will give us a slightly more exciting game. Still, MSI looks strong even in this loss, and I think they have what it takes to turn